don't think you should experience in the middle of a 2-game set. Just say halfway through, like, let's try something stupid. You don't do that, I don't think. Especially against a good team, you shouldn't throw that ability in. Because on what you know, even if you lose, you learn something. See, like, oh, why did this draft fail? Figure it out, and you have a piece of information.
Like we had with the Vega games.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they went for the exact same research. But we have the drafts going on. Let's take a look at what Empire can get this time, if they can indeed get their hands on the Shadow Fiend. So far, it has not yet been banned out. It's only the Doom and the Night Stalker.
Team Empire wants anything.
Never mind.
They actually focus on B supports. You just get supports that give you immediate impact, at least kind of dominate the laning stage. Then your support could do more on the map, like stacking, smoke ganking. Then you could be greedy after you won the laning stage. I don't think you should. Like, for example, Wisp, again, Wisp Lion, I just have to zone back in that. I just didn't do anything in the...
Alliances turn.
Even though it didn't do anything, Empire's is actually going to be the one to ban it out against Alliance. They thought the wrong way around, but so they're not planning on picking it up. Don't want Alliance to be having it either.
I think Alliance, like Darkseer is a pretty decent first pick in these games, I think.
Queen of.
As well as S4.
I mean,
we were talking about this earlier, Kevin.
Yeah.
He just doesn't die that often.
The Bane is still in.
Well, they haven't been prioritized Bane at all. I believe he has not even been banned out in the previous
No, he got
games.
banned out last game.
Oh, he got banned out in the second phase, you're right.
The draft is still very open, and that's why people... Yes. She's strong against all mids.
Doesn't give anything away.
Doesn't give anything away. Can
10 seconds
build very differently. She can build pressure with Orchid. She can build team fight with Eggs.
5
She can build
seconds
BKB if she needs it. She doesn't have. I think she's one hero that can actually build almost every item, and it's good.
Yeah.
Manta style one build.
See people
Get rid of silences, man.
I've seen people do it before.
Yeah, just build mules for half the cost.
Just split push.
You know, a hero that I've been missing for a while is Pugna. I'm not saying they should pick it here, but I feel like when you have so many strength casters, if your war gets to stay alive for a long time, the mana draining is great.
How much does it do? Is it like 6 per second or something?
I want to say 8.
What's this?
The mana drain. It's basically the one aspect that everybody forgets exists.
8?
No, it's
It's a
definitely
lot
a
more
big
than that,
number.
right? Yeah.
It definitely gives you negative regen. So most heroes have at least one passive.
10
That's true.
seconds
That's like a
remaining.
Vlad's anti. That'd be horrible. It's like, why is this even in? I think it's like it's either 6 or 8 because I think it goes like 1.5.
I forgot at all.
Is it not still
it's
very
okay.
gimmicky? As in, it only would work in a lane against specific heroes that really need their mana really badly?
Well, laning wise, for example, if you put a mid, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's a good hero that can clear stacks, which we see. Like, that's kind of the requirement now. If you could go mid as a hero, you need to have a decent way to clear stacks. And then he's also great at tower staging, so I don't know.
He's very weak to Tusking, so I feel
Oh, that's
like
true. Yeah,
a lot of people
Tuskar is
pick
a
mid
hero.
heroes. Like Pugna just gets eaten alive by anything that's good at game.
He is squishy.
Bounty, there's tons of.
It's a gimmicky last pick.
I like the Dazzle pickup. I feel like teams like Vega, Empire, they're so good at going aggressive, having a defensive support that... I mean, Shadow Wave actually does a ton of damage.
5
You have
seconds
2 or 3
remaining.
targets next to the enemy, so... Pretty standard stuff here.
I think you picked Tusk.
Reserve
Like, it's
time.
pretty decent against both Darkseer and Dazzle. Well, you can save him. They love it.
Minus Tusk.
Yeah.
Brood mother.
Okay, yeah, I almost forgot about that. That was the one they banned out first. Last game.
How does Brood do 1v1 versus Darkseer?
You can just cut the Darkseer. Basically, but I think Darkseer gets a little bit. Depends who's in the offlane.
10 seconds.
But Darkseer can
remaining.
jump faster.
It also depends on what build you go for.
5
I've seen the
seconds remaining.
max passive build.
Yeah, the Mac build.
That doesn't really work against Iron Shell.
Yeah.
Reserve
Well, it's
time.
not good against Iron Shell, but it's more so you don't rely on your spiders, because your spiders become actually a burden, unless you just send it. Like, if he cuts your wave, then you go spider too. Basically, you cut each other's wave. But
Also, he can cast Iron Shell on one of your spiders. so
yeah,
it's
and
hard
it
to
just gets
figure out-
annoying.
Hard to figure out which one's
That's true.
Segment.
If you look at all your spiders together, you can see the only one that's not losing HP.
Ah,
Okay.
that's the
10
play.
seconds remaining.
Did
I just throw my hands up in the air.
Sinew disconnect.
Hey, did the Lions last week, or 2 weeks ago rather, in the previous DreamLeague, not lose a game where Brood was played by Bulldog?
They lost the game in the qualifiers as well.
Maybe that's one I'm
Yeah.
using, yeah.
But they had Brood on
10
anti-mage.
seconds remaining.
But
Yeah, that's the game with the blink that Lumi was talking
yeah,
about.
so
Just lost.
he actually
5 seconds
blinked and
remaining.
clicked on the mini-map, I'm pretty sure, like, so he dragged it.
Anti-mage, yeah.
So he ended up blinking to the top right instead of the bottom.
Reserve time.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened, cause
That's literally the wrong direction to blink
It's
in.
like
yeah.
I love that.
2000 range anti-blink kind of thing.
Oh,
I actually meant to
Blink.
be.
that happens though, especially in these like tense games.
Okay, so Brood always confused me as a hero in a draft because I've seen teams go really hard on Brood counters, like pick supports that are not weak against Brood. In fact, you start with Sentry and Dust, and you force the Brood to go like 0-4 in lane. But then it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't matter because he always will get his levels. He'll get his farm, and you will lose your T1 no matter what. So
Okay.
with that logic in mind, like maybe you focus less on the Brood and make sure your other lanes are better and stronger.
I know we're saying don't focus on the Brood, and I'm not saying pick Legion
10
Commander because
seconds
of Brood,
remaining.
but I'm saying pick Legion Commander because you have a Dazzle and Darkseer. You're nearly
5
always guaranteed to win the
seconds
duel. You have Ion Shell damage on top of it, but
How will you lane that though?
You can still play it against Brood.
you could, yeah, but
It limits your carry potential.
it does
if you
do
that.
that, yeah.
But I guess they have a Quops and a Brood, so
It's very
they're
good to catch people.
good to it.
We saw Bulldog's Brood against I'm gonna say his name wrong.
That's
Jonas. I cannot pronounce his name. And he went the max passive incapacitating bite against it, and LC just
No, but
had no way to say
yeah,
it.
but I'm not saying it for that. I'm not saying lane it against. I'm saying maybe even and just pick a mid laner that leads into the late game a bit. Because the Iron Shot just gives you so much.
Well, this is not a
Alliances
backboard.
turn
Oh,
it's
no,
great.
it's huge. Yeah.
A lot.
You get the vision as well.
Very mobile. You can just blink stun.
No,
We
they're
do see teams starting to do more support slaughter instead of like
Off-
Yeah, they go
offlane.
offlane with
Offlane's
like
Yeah.
4-row
He
support
just said
slaughter.
support guys.
it's no that they're doing.
I know my English is not that good.
No,
guys.
they do it both. We actually saw a aggressive tri lane with the Slaughter as a support
Mhm.
on the tri lane, and I
10
think
seconds
Darkseer was the
remaining.
support.
We casted that game. It was Team 1-2-3 versus Fnatic for
We
the
did.
C finals.
Oh,
They lost in like 20 minutes, but he was sad. Like they got a lot of kill with the Slaughter.
Alright, so the only real difference between an offlane and a support is that your offlanes usually want at least a little bit of farm.
yeah, to get player towards.
And I would say Slar wants a little bit of farm, but Earthshaker kind of fills the same role. It's a stun, you need a blink. So I guess it could work, and you get mobility just from
10
the skill points,
seconds
so
remaining.
you kind of get away without having to.
Well,
I guess
it's a
I could see
support
it
that
working.
also gives you a ton of
5
physical damage for your
Yeah,
cores.
free medallion at 6, baby.
That's
Especially if you pick
actually
up with
insane.
TA as well. It might be, is that overkill
Reserve
on the minus
time.
timer, or is
You can never have too many.
Actually though, like if you do Darkseer
Templar
Slaughter,
Assassin.
go offlane,
That's
right?
TA,
Like,
good
isn't,
call,
isn't
Shane.
that like
Alliances
sick offlane kill
turn
shot?
to pick.
Yeah, I'll play.
Dota?
core analysis?
No, I'm not the core yet.
Well, maybe it's time to upgrade you. I don't know.
Surely you pick a Winter Wyvern here, or is that not worth it?
What about Sven?
Now
You
you're
know
saying
what?
heroes.
No, I like Sven.
No, the
That's-
armor buff is instant.
It's like
20
10
armor I've heard today.
seconds
we saw it the other game with
Okay.
with TA. Like if you
5
two-shot them,
seconds remaining.
no Wyvern's Cold Embrace doesn't matter because they're
Yeah.
just gonna finish you off after you come up.
Exactly.
You need something that just like is a lot
Reserve
more
time.
fire and release.
But the problem is Sven doesn't lane well against Darkseer. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not great.
What if
But
it was
Disruptor is
made with
okay.
that as
Disruptor is really good in Darkseer. So you just you need another strong
Someone that's
support.
against the Darkseer.
Yeah, exactly, and zone him out completely.
Winter Wyvern is actually one of those. What if you get Sven and Winter Wyvern?
Winter Wyvern means you're never killing the Darkseer because he can easily surge away.
I think you need like Ogre or something like that. Pretty decent. Has damage over time
Melee
against
against
TA.
Iron
Yeah,
Shell
it's
is-
okay against TA.
You can buff up the Sven. Like
I
we're
like Crystal Maid.
kind of going a bit far here, but yeah,
Crystal Maid
All
and
in
Sven
on
for
Sven
Alliance.
yeah,
Set.
all in,
Okay.
all in.
No, I
Doki.
think either Jakiro or Veno is the picking
As support for Alliance?
as a support for Alliance.
Yeah, those would be.
Yeah, they're good.
Because, well, you do lack on the stun department, but if you get a poison on
10
Slaughter,
seconds
he's just not
remaining.
doing anything.
There it is, Sven.
Sven.
He's got a sword.
Close enough.
He's got a mask.
He's not.
That's
he's not
that's our
bull.
hero. I think Benno would be bad against Darkseers.
That's a no killing potential.
Yeah.
You need lockdown. But you do have the glimpse. I mean, that's nice, but lockdown is.
Okay, why did they pick Juggernaut?
10 seconds remaining.
Because
Healing ward is
they
good
were
against
listening to the stream. This talking.
5 seconds
Sven.
and
remaining.
then they missed it.
They misclicked.
No, the healing ward's good against Darks here. You can sustain in lane.
Yeah, he's very good versus
Reserve
Dark, so you
time.
can leave it solo.
Exactly.
Omni Slash is pretty good against TA. Blade Fury is very good for
Yeah.
Refraction.
Well, in terms of stopping a imagine Alliance does like a tier 2 push right now. Who's actually killing the hero? TA has low range. Dazzle
It
doesn't want
would
to
be
get close.
Dazzle would
Yeah,
would be the only
Dazzle
one.
doesn't really want to be there.
Unless Slaughter is in there. But if he's in there, if Slaughter actually jumps in, tries to go for a kill, he wants to be hitting the hero that he's jumping in on and not the hero.
Right.
I think Lumia's on the right point here. They have very bad counter on Team Empire. It's Ion Shells and Templar Assassin Cleave and maybe
Yeah.
a Slaughter Crush, which isn't a lot of damage.
This is
And Dazzle Heal. Like, I think they're just like, screw this, we're pushing. Like, we don't care about their armor synergy.
Winter Wyvern. Too.
We're just gonna get advantage and then we're gonna
Winter Wyvern has wave clear.
it's not a
Really.
purple.
It's,
No, but
blue.
they-
It's close enough.
But Slaughter, what if they want to go for Slaughter for a full house?
A full house.
Slaughter colored hero. So we're gonna and Slaughter are almost the same kind of hero, and they put your purple
True.
trio.
10 seconds
What else do you think
remaining.
Winter Raven would be good?
It's good against Juggernaut. Really good wave clear
Yeah.
against Broodmother.
5
You can Arctic
seconds
burn the
remaining.
ward down.
You can catch the
From
Queen of...
afar.
Yeah,
Oh my god,
exactly.
it's
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
Except that it's not.
Bounty Hunter.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, right now
Alliances
Team
turn
Empire
to
just folds to any push that line does.
So if you know that if your alliance, what ultimate push support hero is it a Shadow Shaman? Yeah.
Well, this is like, it's almost like they're playing a pub game and somebody picked Brood right away and they're like, we have to do everything we can to pick.
It is kind of like that,
Let's
isn't
pick
it?
Slaughter and Bounty Hunter.
But Brood is not the problem right
Come
now.
on, Brood is definitely the problem. Like, if Brood is getting picked in the first 2 rounds,
10
and their
seconds
first
remaining.
2 bans are not Brood counters, like Brood is an issue.
I'm
Because he's
telling you,
consistently top.
Five
they could kill
seconds
Bulldog
remaining.
like 8 times this game. And it
8?
wouldn't really matter.
Well, think how much harder it's gonna be from now. Like, yeah,
Reserve
you can
time.
see Slaughter coming and you can run.
Yeah.
We don't know when Bounty Hunter's
Crystal
waiting there
Maiden.
to track you, and as soon as he tracks you and they have a Blink Slar, you're dead.
Alright, well, we'll let the two
Job
teams
Shiva.
play it out.
As always.
I think Bounty Hunter also makes your mid lane matchup a lot easier. Puts a lot
That
of
is
pressure
true.
on
That
Queen
is
of
definitely
Pain.
true.
So what do you think? The round is done. Time to make your predictions, guys.
I'm gonna go Team Empire. They're gonna do it. They're gonna get out of this slump.
Yeah. Even after you just said all the non-pushing powers that they cannot deal
Yeah.
with.
I think they're gonna snowball out of control with their early fighting.
Okay. Scourge.
I'm gonna stick to Alliance, I think. I think their tri-lanes are really safe, and this is Empire's game to lose.
Team Alliance as well.
You said Empire's
win.
game to win.
That's what I meant. I think that they are gonna have to play a lot better to win this game. If they get behind, I think I'm just gonna...
10 seconds
I
remaining.
feel like a lot of things have to go well for Empire to win. They need an early blink, you need a bounty to
5
get 6 and
seconds
find track
remaining.
kills.
Mhm.
And that's a lot of if. I feel like Alliance's draft a lot more stable, a lot easier to execute, so I'm gonna go with
I'm gonna go for the Crystal Maiden against the Darkseer. I love that. And then we'll go for Alliance for this series as well. It is time for our final game here of the day. It is time for Alliance versus Empire with a tricast of Purge, OD Pixel, and Drask. Go.
I came here to cast Dota and drink Monster Energy drink. And I've just finished my Monster Energy drink. Can really taste the natrium chloride in the riboflavin B2. It's fantastic. Let's get ourselves into the game, ladies and gentlemen. Alliance versus Empire. This is game 2. I'm Eddie Pixel. I'm here with Draskell and I'm here with Purge as well. How are we doing, lads? And what are we thinking of the draft?
I'm doing a lot better now that whatever that was is over.
I wasn't expecting that. I
Jesus.
didn't know what to do.
Yeah, I'm panicking right now, actually. I don't know. I feel like Empire
30
has some
seconds to
insane snowball potential here in game number 2. And I feel
They
like
do,
if
if they get
Alliance
ahead.
don't have some kind of a stable laning phase, they can get ran over.
They could, yeah. It really could go the opposite way. Even though Alliance's draft looks better if the game is equalish, it could go both ways. If Alliance gets ahead, they're just gonna hardcore push while Broodmother split pushes, and if it goes the opposite way, then Empire's just gonna get tons of track kills.
The battle
Brood is gonna get
begins.
ganked all the time.
Can he do it? Oh my god. He did it! He's out! Aloha Nuts gets the bounty rune. Yoku gets himself the bottom one.
Even dodges the Shadow Strike. What a player.
What a player.
Game's over, right? And that costs him an extra sentry, so
We
when
might
they
as well
come
go
contest
next.
mid,
Damn, that was some insane stuff there. Already in this game. What do you think, Drask?
I mean, Alliance looked really solid in game number 1. I would say it was almost a similar situation, right? You're expecting their lanes to do well, and if their lanes don't do well, they just not auto lose, but it's a really hard game from there. And I think they're pretty much in the same position, but if they did it once, they can probably do it again.
And top lane Resolution taking a bit of harassment here from My Nuts. Going in with a Thunder Strike. Lotus just there as well to fend him off. So we can see Ake rotating now as well. Maybe looking to freeze him up, but can't quite get the range. So Ake's just going to take a tower. And I mean, this bottom lane, so we've got Silent Right, he's going to go straight over the crush, and Bulldog has been caught out. They've got a sentry down on the ground. He's not going to be able to get himself out of range of it. And that'll be a first blood there to the side of Empire. Lohadon's picking that one up for the side.
first they get both bounties, and now this.
It's a good start for Empire. They're going to be happy with this so far. The top lane, though, as we can still see, the Darkseer is getting harassed out pretty heavily. Mid lane as well, S4 having the dominant start at the moment, 5 for 3, 4 for 2, but it's still early days, still very close. I think it's a little bit too early to call the shots, but Bulldog's got to be very, very careful down at the bottom lane.
Well, after knowing that the sentry is there, I doubt he'll make the same positioning mistake twice. And the other thing, too, is that he does have one sentry left on him, so if he's able to find it out, he does have tangos left in his inventory and to be able to deward that pretty much straight away. And with that, yeah, okay, so there's an extra sentry on Empire as well. They have this brood well in hand already. There's not really much I feel that he's going to be able to do outside of just play passive and try to soak up whatever levels he can. And even though he gets first blooded there, he's still level 3 at around 2 minutes. And that's one thing that happens when you try to go aggressive early on the offlaner, is oftentimes you'll get the kill, but your wave will always end up pushing after that, which means that the offlaner does get EXP. So like a year or two ago when people would say like, it's a YYF feed or something like that, he would basically die to get experience, and then you get like level 3 or 4 faster, and then you can actually win your lane from that point.
There we go, bottom lane, no fear, just getting the pull off and trying to maintain control of this lane. Bulldog has managed to find level 3 though, 2 minutes in, so even though he has been forced back on the brood, he's still getting a fair bit of XP down there.
Thank you, Owen, for proving once again that play-by-play commentators always listen to their analysts 100% of the time.
Sorry, Jackson.
Brilliant stuff coming out.
It's just such a good point, Draskell. I
just wanted to say it again.
He was on market size, come on. You gotta give him that at least.
The dream.
Alright, lads, what's the plan now? CM's got herself a smoke 2 minutes in. Where we're going to see ahead?
He's a little late on his level 2 here. He could have had this about just after 1 minute or so, but he tried to get that first Darkseer gank off, and it seems like it's actually proved really useful, because it scared Resolution enough to go to the jungle, and that's really that's all you need to do. You need to be like, alright, I'm going to be here, you're going to have to worry about dying if you pass the river point, and I'm going to force you to go to the jungle, which is going to give my carry more farm, and I can just spend my time AFK and I can gank other lanes, and just scaring him is the important part, and he did it.
And then I guess the nice thing about this though as well for Empire is the fact that Lohadon gets himself a bit of a free reign in the top lane in terms of XP. I mean,
that's true.
Obviously there is a sentry down. He's got to be as careful as the Darkseer was, but obviously a little more elusive than the DS in terms of walking around with that invis. So he's going to be able to find something. So making the most of the map here at Empire. And just keeping tabs on how Loda's going to progress it. I guess kind of the question is, obviously, with a Jug on one side and a Slider on the other, is there a team that we're going to expect to see go a little bit more aggressive early on here?
So Juggernaut is interesting in the sense that he can fight very well because of spin. But spin mitigates only magical damage. And then you have Slargar who has amp and ult.
Oh, didn't quite get it.
Okay.
Oh, they stopped one of his though. Do they have another detection?
I think he's still fine. Yeah, they have no idea where he is, so he's just gonna walk it off. But
Is he gonna kill Ake?
Okay.
He's just come back under the cover of the Sentry Ward. He's going to manage to get himself back out. The Thunder Strike is going to bring him low. I mean, meanwhile,
10 seconds on
Brother
Dust.
found himself a solo kill onto the Dazzle.
Yeah. So Alliance are actually doing pretty well in this offlane. Like Bulldog's level 5, 4 minutes in.
Yeah.
Again, that death didn't really hurt him too much. He ends up getting 3 quickly, gets 5 after the fact, and I mean, Aloha Dance, he's almost level 4, so it's not like he's losing out too much himself, but a Brood is going to be able to impact the game in such a bigger way than what this Bounty Hunter is going to be able to offer for at least a little while. And the other thing, too, is outside of the Darkseer, where is their counter push? Like, how did they kill Broodlings?
That is true, really.
That's what we were hoping for that last pick, but it didn't come.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem indeed. And I mean, in terms of Bulldog's build here on the Broodmother, we've seen it play a few times. Is there anything you think he'll prioritize in terms of items this game? You know, because of the situation he's in?
I think Orchid for sure, right?
Yeah.
If he finds Bounty Hunter, you can Orchid him and kill him. Dazzle, same thing. You're not going to kill Slardar or the
Resolution getting glimpsed back of the lane. They've got the CM holding him in position with the Blade Fury from Loader. That's going to be enough damage for the side of Alliance to find themselves the second kill this game. Aloha Dance is still hanging around, but they haven't got any sentries down at the moment, so he's doing pretty well. Found himself level 4 at the moment in this top lane of the bounty.
It's unfortunate he died so fast. They definitely could have killed somebody. If he just Iron Shells the Invis Bounty Hunter, who's level 4 by the way,
Yeah.
they could easily kill Hawkeye. He's got 1 armor and a max HP of 500. It just takes a little bit of damage and he goes down.
Yeah, I mean, I think he might have traded his own life
Dire's
though, in
middle
that sense, because they do
tower
have
is under
dust.
attack.
So I feel like he might have just died in the process, and maybe he didn't value that was worth it over like maybe hitting like level 5 or 6 a tiny bit faster. I suppose it's hard to say though.
Radiant's
in
top
that
tower
circumstance,
is
but
under
again,
attack.
the big story for me just continues to be Bulldog. Like, they cannot deal with him. And the thing is, even if he's not in lane, he's still jungling, he's still getting experience, and that means that as soon as he has a large amount of broodlings and he feels like he can go in, killing No Fear, he'll at the very least force him to TP, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, it's a really rough situation right now for Empire.
How do you feel about this change in Broodmother play? Like, all Broods basically jungle now in the early game rather than just staying in lane and pressuring like crazy. Like, why do you think this playstyle came around and why is it so strong?
I think it's mainly because sitting in lane, when you know that they have insane chase potential, and they have high damage in the early game, like, your biggest weakness as a Brood is prior to level 6, before you have enough points at the Broodlings and Webs to have that full mobility. And the other thing too is, if you play like this, think of how a lot of Lycan players used to use Wolves. They would run around with it and they would scout people out. You can kind of do the same thing with Brood in this sense. You can just see the support rotations going from safe lane to mid. And that scouting is very difficult for Empire to deal with, because if they want to walk through the woods, I mean, how does the Dazzle walk through his own jungle right now? He feels terrified.
Mid lane, Aki's trying to move in with S4 here, but Aloha Dance has come in with the wrap round. They got Bulldog trying to do damage towards Yoke. It's not going to be enough. The Sonic Wave though will try to Dazzle. He'll get bursted down, and now S4 blinking forward, trying to find Yoku. Hasn't quite got the damage to finish him off. Okay, having a bit of fun here with Aloha Dance, and Aloha Dance trying to go for the kill, but Bulldog has turned out the double kill for Bulldog as he burst down. A second hero there in the mid lane. And you talked about the potency of this Spider just turning up to fights and feeding off the squishier heroes, and Bulldog doing it to his best there.
Yeah, the mobility of Brood cannot be underestimated. He's even opted to max web first. So that's a 70% movement speed increase. He's hasted, basically, if he's under a web. So the time that it takes him to run from bottom to middle lane is not long at all. So any time, again, that the supports of Empire want to trek through their own jungle, they're doing it at their own risk.
And you can just farm at full speed, occasionally stop the push bot, and then instantly show up mid and get a double kill.
Yeah.
Such a big threat.
I think now we are seeing why teams today have been first phase banning this hero.
Yes,
That's proving to be very good right now.
Absolutely.
He doesn't even care about a safe lane. It's not about pushing, it's about killing people and farming well.
I mean, it's very common for people to almost overkill pressure the Brood, right? You see like 2, 3, 4 heroes sometimes ganking a Brood. If the Brood just comes to your lane, she's a lot faster, wastes less time getting there, can farm anywhere she wants. It's very hard to lose efficiency on the hero if you think about it, because going through the jungle, like you already mentioned, Kevin, you can just kill any camp you walk to. It's not a problem. And you already have Soul Ring, 2 Sage's Mass for the mana regen. How do you track this Brood down if he's not playing in lane and he's just walking from lane to lane?
I mean, I guess on the topic of the Brood, one thing I'm wondering is we do sometimes see heroes like the safe lane Slardar go for the Vanguard because they're farming up against the Brood, or do you think we are just going to see Silence still go straight for the Blink Dagger and try and be active elsewhere on the map and just ignore the Brood?
I think he needs Blink.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can go anything other than an initiation item in this case, because you're pretty much losing 2 of your lanes right now, and bottom lane isn't losing per se, but it is in the sense that the Brood is still farming a ton. Sure, Silence the highest CS in the game. He should be there because he's safe lane. But if you don't make something happen with that safe lane farm sooner rather than later, I think Empire are gonna be in some serious trouble, actually.
Yeah, you don't aim just to stabilize against a Brood, you aim to control the game and get kills. And he's not going to be able to do, like, he'll be able to eat an Omni Slash, but he won't be able to have a lot of offensive potential against Quap and Crystal Maid and all these other heroes that Alliance is running.
I mean, surely now the fact that obviously Slardar has got level 6, he's got the Amplified, that's going to be a little bit of an annoyance for Bulldog, or will he still be able to play around that, you feel, and still be as annoying as he has been?
I think he'll just jungle just as much as he was in the first couple minutes of the game. As you see, he sits back, he's actually under his tower, and as soon as that goes away, he can easily walk into his jungle again. They're not going to, unless they have a sentry down, they're not going to be able to reapply this.
I mean, right now, they don't even have detection on the heroes that are in the safe lane, so if he actually spots No Fear and notices that he doesn't have anything on him,
oh, they just under that sentry, they're going to roll that Sonic Wave. That's what gets him. He gets to, even though Bounty just comes away from the sentry ward.
their lanes are getting massacred. Like, their tier 2 is under siege right now. There's level 3 healing ward on Loda up again in 30 seconds if they want to do it. And if they TP up here to stop him and it's a big commitment, then the Brood's just going to start running down the safe lane.
Okay, they do have the blink on Slardar now, so maybe this is go time here for Empire. They've got Yoku coming in as well. They want to try and find Loda. Loda does have the Omni Slash available. He's going to Blade Fury first to step himself away. Resolution trying to move in close, looking for a potential back. Silent gets the foot on the team. The wall's been dropped as well. There will be a glimpse back, taking the Slardar out of the fight. It doesn't matter. Yoku will clean up the Juggernaut. Minus looking for the TP out, will be able to escape. But Empire do find the kill that they were looking for there and get themselves the Juggernaut.
What a Blink Tiger timing, man. Gets it just in time and they pick up the Juggernaut kill. He was able to partially buy out before he went down, but that's a huge kill. That's going to retain control of their off lane basically, and they can maybe...
Yes, straight with the crush. Look at this man go crazy with the amplify the tower. It's hitting a lot. It's not quite enough though. Get the slow and Silent's going to try and move in for more. It's more turns and fights, but the crush is there. And Silent with the need for Swede, hungry for that Scandinavian blood, gets a second kill on the Alliance.
And showing the power of the Blink Dagger here. Slardar is
is
one of those heroes that oftentimes as a Blink hero you feel like you can get away from most things. The problem is sprint lasts for 12 seconds, so even if you blink 1300 range, he can cover that distance in what, 2 or 3 seconds? It's not really a problem for him.
It worked out really well. There was just nothing S4 could do to survive that.
How close is Aloha down to level 6 on this bounty?
He's like 1 creep away.
Okay, I was going to say he must be pretty close up to this kind of action that he's been involved in. And then that's going to be pretty big. I mean, track gold, obviously, well, not the gold itself, but the actual ability did get nerfed pretty heavily. But the track itself, in terms of getting bonus gold, if you can get kind of the momentum going early on, it's nothing to smirk at.
It can be a huge advantage to get track kills in the sense that Empire have a very good carry versus carry matchup in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like I don't like Juggernaut against Slardar at all because if you don't have Omni, you pretty much can never fight him just because of how good amplified damage is in the 1 versus 1 setting. Like even just 1 point is minus 10.
It's a little bit out of place.
I mean,
it's got this invis. Yeah, okay.
Just scouting it out.
Biggie spotted the Slardar actually. I thought maybe they'd do smoking through their jungle to look for Bulldog, but they've spotted him over in the safe lane, so that's where they're aiming.
They're trying to fight. How long's? I mean, he's hanging around. That invis is coming close to wearing off here. Are they going to try and fight into this one? They've got Loda coming in with Blade Fury. Still got that Omni Slash available. Silent will get shallow craved up in Loda moving into no bit. Will kill the Dazzle. I mean, this might be this early to gets out the Fury. Silent can't get himself out of this spell. He can't. Loda's there with a double kill. Ake might be in a bit of trouble there. Shoku's moving in, but S4's turned up. Aloha Dance moving into the Bounty Hunter. Has the Iron Shell on him. They're heading to the pin, trying to run for a right shot tonight, but they're already losing the Bounty Hunter. Yoku's trapped up in the field as well. He's just stuck between all the spiders. He goes down as well. Double kill for S4. There's actually a buyback here on the Slardar, but he's not going to be able to achieve anything. He does not want to jump into that, especially seeing as Loda didn't even need to use the Omni Slash.
Yeah, I don't know what that buyback was for, honestly. I don't know what he was hoping to accomplish. Like, it was pretty apparent that no hero was going to live through that was in the vicinity for Empire, so maybe he was just hoping that Alliance weren't going for a straight Roshan or something, and he wanted to just try to stop them from killing it, but other than that, Empire are not looking so hot here in this early mid-game scenario. They don't have mech yet on the Darkseer. Resolution is still a little bit away from that. And I mean, I guess the one thing Empire can take solace in is they haven't lost too many towers. They've only lost the offlane tier 1 up until this point. But Bulldog is working his way towards Orchid, and he's not that far off.
This is going to be a pretty good timing for the Brood. And I think they realize that they've got 3 heroes down at the moment. Even sending Yoku around as well. They really want to try and kill this spider.
Oh, they might see him. He's got an end at 5. If they spot him, they're going to kill him.
Yeah, they're just going to dive and jump straight in.
Here comes. Will they get him before he nets?
He's coming back up and straight in silence there with the amplify and the crush onto Bulldog. Taking the track as well. More pocket money there in the back for Empire. The team is now coming in loaded with the Omni Slash. He's not quite enough for a level 1. He's been tracked as well, so such damage for speed, but the crush comes a little bit later. Bulldog's already there with the Blade Fury. Will pick up the kill onto Slardar. And now Ake gets the stone to Lower Dust. S4's there with the dust. Lower Dust has been frozen up. They'll almost certainly find the kill here on the Bounty Hunter. Dazzle has to brave himself. Yoku's trying to get something in return, but S4 already on a killing spree. And Loda minus now S4 joining the cause, looking for more. They've got the Yules though, using to set up onto the Darkseer. Now trapped up in the kinetic field. Resolution will go down as well here as Alliance bring it to 12-5 on the board, and yes again take a very convincing fight.
I mean, I guess I get the commitment on the Bulldog. Like, you want to try to get something done with your Blink Dagger. Yoku might be dead here as well.
Oh, glimpse back. There's no mouth for this man. Pushes down, dust is in his eyes. Nowhere for him to run. Loda with the kill. Mega kill streak now for this Juggernaut. And Alliance is just running all over Empire this game, Purge.
just like last game. We'll see if Empire can get a mid-game surge at least, but we all agreed that if Empire has a really good early game, they could stop Alliance, but now they're maybe not aiming for the late game, and I think that's one reason why Slar bought back. He's like, well, I can spend 300 gold right now on a very early game buyback, and maybe I'll show up and help kill a hero or two, and if that happens, that could push us into an advantage where we can actually take teamfight wins against Alliance.
I don't think they're gonna win any team fights anytime soon with the way things have been going. I don't know, like, what do you do in this situation? Like, you have to go for smokes, you have to go for aggressive plays, utilize the blink dagger on your Slardar, but it always seems like when they do that, the Lions get the better trade and resolution. Oh my.
Aloha Dance comes with a wraparound, but he walks under a sentry as well in the jungle.
That was a read right there.
Yeah.
Alright, can all memes aside, can I just say that Alliance are back?
I think you can.
Is it too soon?
They're playing really well.
They just seem really on point. And I know Empire haven't had like the most amazing results recently, but as for this is way too bad.
Alright.
He just wants the agents.
Let's chill out. Okay, they're doing some
Okay. Oh, wait, this is the field.
A little bit off with the timing there. Okay, he's gonna get crushed here. Silence moving into flashes as well. The CM is gonna melt. They will find one kill, then maybe try and move forward for more. It's gonna be hard to get the blink because the Thunderstrike was put down onto Slardar, so obviously hindering his ability to jump straight back in. There's the Orchid now finished up on your Bulldog Brewmother, and there is now a blink on Yoku. So in terms of catch potential, they are pretty volatile here. Your Omni Star's coming out, most of it being tagged up by the refraction chance. Now Loader trying to finish up with the Blade Fury. They've got the Thunderstrike down on the Bounty Hunter as well. There will be a shallow grave trying to help him get out of there, but S4 inflicting a lot of damage. Will have to blink up to the high ground, both of them incredibly low. There's the glimpse back onto Aloha does. It's not enough as the screen comes through from S4. The bloody kill on the Bounty Hunter. They will also kill No Fear, who just tries to TP out in front of them. The damage from Loader's too much. And again, Alliance finding 2 kills. It's 17-6 on the board at just 16 minutes in. 9k now in your Juggernaut. The highest net worth on the side of Empire being the TA at 6k. It's quite a difference now for this early on in the game.
The other thing too is it opens up a free Roshan for Alliance, just taking that fight in general, knowing those 2 heroes are dead. The tier 1 in the middle lane is also dead, which means it's going to take Empire longer to react to this Roshan. They have level 4 healing ward. There's not really anything I feel Empire can do, even though I'm sure they want to stop this, but it's just too much. Alliance have an insane amount of momentum, and it's not as if they're out farming in the terms of CS. It's just every single engagement they seem to be getting 1 or 2 more kills in Empire, and over time that's going to show.
We go Empire. Maybe looking to fight off the back of this is straight in. Okay. Crush on 2, they got the dragon. He just needs to get 1 turn. There we go, they put the Aegis. Actually getting off a very nice freezing field here. Forcing Empire to back themselves out of this one. But they get the pick off. They also manage to take the Aegis away from Alliance here. Okay, and that's for all tracked up. Bulldog a little bit luckier, they haven't got the vision on him.
They maybe could re-engage here. You saw the burst damage there. That was just a simple melt strike with the Slithering Crush and the amp damage, and all of a sudden 2 heroes just blew up. That's what they're aiming for, basically. Once they get Deso on TA as well as that, this Jug actually isn't going to be a big threat. Like, he's going to get Manta to try to remove amp damage, but he's armor.
Give that man a VAC. The Yules was there straight away. Silent couldn't get anything in after that blinking.
Yeah, that was really nice. I mean, he had Kree vision, so oftentimes you just preemptively cast the Yules, and when that comes out, you just immediately get the Yules up instead of the Crush coming out, because obviously it has a longer animation, but still Alliance looking really solid here. But Kevin brings up a solid point, is that the mass minus armor is amazing against the team of Alliance, and once BKBs come out as well, we also have to keep into consideration that in terms of pure right-click, Alliance have not built themselves as a team who is going to be able to like right-click down a Slardar with like AC and BKB and such, and even a TA for example. So Empire I still feel have the late game advantage. Okay. It just depends on can they actually get control of the map back fast enough? Because eventually like Bulldog, Orchid done, level 11, he's going to become a monster soon.
He's already well on the way there. I was going to say first, yeah.
Dire's structures are
it's not pretty for Empire. I mean, as you were saying though, the minus armor, you know, the fact that if Empire do find someone and they get the jump in, they're going to be able to kill most of the heroes on the map. What do Alliance do to protect themselves against that incredible burst of physical damage?
I think you just have to stick. Like, if you want to take fights, you have to be at least 4.
Yes.
Because that way, if they go on somebody to try to blow them
would you
up,
say?
Yeah, S4, definitely. Got him.
Got him.
That was a got him.
Okay.
But as long as you have like Disruptor to drop like a Static Storm kinetic field on the target they go on, I feel like even if that target dies, you're going to be able to get counter kills. So I think as long as you're trading and Bulldog is able to do what he does and just rat the map, then you should be in okay shape.
I think it's okay to go Medallion as well in a support. I feel like a lot of teams just don't build the item ever anymore. It's very rare that they do. And +7 armor can make a big difference in keeping a core alive.
Yeah, that's very
Dire's
true.
middle tower is under
The
attack.
other thing is, Ghost Scepter is going to be a hot item in this game for the supports of Alliance.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you
that's
do
gonna
not
be a
have
big
one,
pickup.
you are dead.
That's a dead cert.
Got a smoke up for Empire here.
This is what they need to do. They need to find these pick
Dire's
off these
courier
jumps. They'd
has
love
been
to find
killed.
S4. It looks like a lower dance was able to sneak off these around there. We go straight on 10 points. Look at the damage! That's what we're talking about. Empire straight in. There's no chance for us to crack. Now that Transformers are being returned. The big side of that, but the wall's being chopped down. Ake now down the freezing field. They haven't got anything to cancel it yet. Side getting pretty low now. Ake is going to go look for the walk off. Yoko will find the cleanup and getting the kill onto Disruptor. And now heading up the more. Sorry, Mike comes out. But now he may be in trouble. Yoko's stuck in the trees at the moment. They're going to be able to use up himself here and try and get himself up to the next side finally comes out. Will kill the Dazzle. They've found Yoko in the tree line. Is pulled off. Numbing away here on this spider. Will manage to finish off the TA. There's a biteback on Ake.
Radiant's bottom tower
Bit of a messy
is under
fight.
attack.
Empire do find something out of it, but they do lose the TA off the back.
Good buyback from WAP, I think. It was a little iffy. Looked like he might die a second time, but he got his ulti off. He did a bunch of damage, and despite the immediate blow up at the start of the fight, I think Alliance is going to come out happy with that fight.
Yoku also did blink into the trees, so...
Yeah, that was really unfortunate for him, because then Brood just had the easiest solo of his life, and that's the counter to high physical damage missing.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I mean, in terms of the TA build, then, do you think we'll see a potentially early MKB, or is he just need to get the BKB online? It looks.
I think it's
just
Deso
go
on
with Deso.
MKB,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
has to be.
you've still got to go for the Deso.
Yeah, I mean, obviously MKB is a great item later on.
Yes.
But until he has BKB and Deso, I think he pretty much can't buy it. Because if he does, he's putting himself at risk of just eating a Static Storm and being dead. That ability is amazing against Templar Assassin. Because you can't meld, it eats refraction, and then you're just left in a kinetic field and like, alright, well, I have no defense at all. And that's also against Spin. So you can't meld, which means you don't have the mass minus armor against the Juggernaut, and you just kind of fall over. So for now, Alliance still maintain a pretty good amount of map control, but I would say that Empire has showcased that they can, in fact, take fights.
They really can.
certainly are.
Is it a fight? It's more like a...
Just a.
Well,
Something
it's
once
like a haymaker, right? They throw a haymaker at one hero, and they hope they can just run away in time before the counter initiation comes out.
And it's like a second. It's like there's I don't think a medallion's going to make a difference anymore. It's evasion, just raw armor items, I guess.
What was the build here on Silent? Has he picked up a buckler on this Slider?
Yeah, he's going Crimson.
Okay, yeah, of course.
It's really
Just
good
testing you
against
out. Just testing you. Silent. He's found himself a pickoff. I mean, it is dirty. It's straight up deletes heroes once they get a jump on them.
Yep. I mean, that's kind of the strength of these types of heroes against Juggernaut. But I think Alliance knew that going in. I think they just had something very specific in mind with the heroes, as in being able to pressure the map a lot to keep Empire from being able to get like anything off of their picks. Once they have blanks, they're always going to be able to find a kill every once in a while, but as long as you can keep the lanes out, for Alliance it wouldn't matter too much. But you can start to see that Alliance are feeling that pressure, and the lanes are being pushed a little bit in favor of Empire for the moment, and they gotta be happy with that, because their early game did not go well.
Minus armor, man. That's the draft. Oh, Slar going to Crimson Guard this game. I actually like that a lot against Omni Slash.
Yes.
That'll be pretty useful.
And of course against the Spiders as well, if you
Yeah.
remember Trust Corner. And actually Deso now turn on the TA, so the physical damage has just been amped up an extra notch. Alliance will have to be very, very
I
careful.
actually think that if there's an amp on like the supports, they actually get one shot.
Yeah.
I would agree with you.
Tranquil Boots usually help out a lot against that, but it's not going to matter this game.
Yeah,
These guys
it's
are gonna
15
kill
between
Blue.
level 4
Dire's
meld
top tower
and
is
just
under
Desolator, and then another 15 from amp. So it's minus 30
That's the
armor.
cap, dude. Minus 20 is the
Dire's
armor cap. They actually have
structures
too much
are
minus armor this game in some cases.
And this is for getting the Weave as well, once that starts to tick down in fights.
Dire's
God, I
top
forgot
tower
about that.
is under
Yeah.
attack.
They even almost put Juggernaut at the max minus armor.
Dire's
Do you even
top
buy
tower
armor items? Do you just buy
fallen.
damage block and evasion or something? It's,
Honestly, I mean, Loda bought a Blink Dagger, so I mean,
I like
that's his answer, which I actually don't mind, given the fact that you can like blink into position to get a good Omni off, because sometimes a Slardar is going to be isolated from the rest of his team if he like just goes in. And you obviously don't want to get jumped because they can kill you in like a second, as they've already shown many times.
but with the blink as well, he can't even do that much damage because he has Drum Manta. Manta he had to buy to be able to remove track and amplify damage, but it's a mediocre damage item for an agility here at this stage. Despite for his net worth, his damage is really not good right now. Anyone heavy stat build or heavy skill build, so his stats aren't even abnormally high to compensate.
Yeah, that is true, but I think as there are a lack of BKBs in Empire, they're still relying pretty heavily on the Queen's damage, The disruptor as well.
Crush coming in from side. The Amplifier and the Weaver coming down as well. Lotus being chased down here by the gang of Vampire. Will get the Omni snapshot, but there's more of a break up of a Crimson Guard. He tries to walk it off here, but the physical damage is too much. The Blade Fury going to do nothing in terms of saving his life, and even No Fear here himself picking up the kill there with that Dazzle Shadow Wave.
He should have just spun right away. It removes the amp damage. If he would have taken less damage from the right clicks, he could have just ran back, I think. It was really unfortunate his mantle wasn't up, but he should have spun instantly there, I think.
I think for now Alliance are actually kind of getting pressured a little bit too much, and it could be because Bulldog has been playing very passive.
He's going to try and fight this. Ake's coming in as well. There's going to be the blink out. Very nicely made, but there's a blink glimpse as well. Yoku. Oh, you can imagine this amount of hate coming down on the TA. Down for a full minute. They might lose lower dance as well. No, Salad in with a crush trying to save him, but he's been Yule's done. There's John Bunny killing the bounty. Minus trying to get himself out of it. Might just make his luck hitting Phil. The freeze being Phil being as well. Back from the sidelines. Don't be getting incredibly long. The Shadow Grave up to Silent, but no Phil loses his life. Silent's going to go down as well. It's going to be a hero trade on the side of Empire. They don't even find any of the kills on Alliance. Alliance managing to keep everyone alive there. What a fight there.
That was the best freezing field I've seen in like months. It was a full duration, and it was actually, there were enemy heroes in it the entire time. The entire time. They couldn't waste stuns on him. It was perfect.
I was gonna say, like, it's been a while since I've seen a freezing field actually do much, but like you were saying, that was actually insane that he was able to get that kind of channel off.
Classic Ake.
Yeah, the guy does so much with so little. I mean, this is Tranquil Boots, Wand, Bracer. That is all he has to his name.
That's all he needs.
Makes plays like that.
That's all he needs.
In his defense, it's basically Slardar stun, Slardar bash, vacuum, and Shrike and toss. So there's not a whole lot of things that can interrupt him, but I also really liked his position. Around the corner from the Slardar, far outside of range, forcing the people that come up the ramp to defend to run through it as well. It was great.
I mean, even if you're tracked, you can still get interrupted, right? Because he just throws a shuriken at anyone.
Oh, good point.
And then you just get interrupted. And the rest of the abilities are all AoE, so...
Yeah, that's true.
It's really something that he's able to do that in that situation. But I would like to see Bulldog start to play more aggressive. I was going to talk about that before the fight, and...
They're chancing for a lower dance there. Yeah, they saw him come up past the Senchu, but he's playing it smart here. The Bounty Hunter.
Like, Bulldog's just living in the Ancients. He hasn't really pressured bottom lane that much. The tier 2 tower is still over half HP right now.
Look at this from Empire. Smokes up.
Bloodthirsty.
Obviously, Loradan's got themselves the intel, but they are smoking up blindly into high ground. The smoke's not dispelled yet, so they're still kind of safe to close the gap a bit more, but Alliance, they're playing it safe. They back themselves up into the base, and they're on the top lane at the moment behind the tier 2, so they're going to be able to find anything yet. They'd love to get Roshan, and Roshan, unfortunately for them, it's not up now, but it's very, very soon, so as long as they stay around, they've got the trap down as well. I mean, we've already talked about the arm reduction. This lineup can take Roshan pretty darn fast. There's a slight issue with the fact that Alliance are on their way, and they're not going to let Empire get away with this one for free if they go.
They know Roshan's going to be spawning, if not already up, which in fact it is, so... Obviously you have to fight over this. This point of contention is going to be huge for either team.
Especially for Empire, because they can kill it in 4 seconds. With all this minus armor they have, it's the best way to kill Roshan rapidly.
And it would put Yoku almost at BKB, which makes him incredibly strong. Alright, Aloha Dan spots him.
Okay, this is going to pick off. Bounty Hunter's going to tank that one.
Alright, that should be Rosh.
I mean, without the Bounty Hunter, can Empire still try and contest, or they just have
they're already running. They literally do not want to fight this anymore. The thing is, if you're going to take a fight around Roshan, track is one of the more powerful tools in being able to get a bigger win from that fight, and Empire right now need a big win. So if that hero is gone, you don't have track, you don't have the medallion too, which actually may be overkill with the amount of minus armor they do have.
Yeah.
But it's just too dangerous to fight into it without everyone that you have. Honestly, I feel like this Bounty Hunter, it's not like Aloha Dance has played a bad game by any stretch, it's just more like, I feel like the heroes are difficult for him to play against, because if he gets spotted by anything, it's just immediate glimpse. You're just dead.
And they have Gem on a Queen of Pain, who has the Yules. They have so many ways to disrupt him from escaping.
Yeah,
it's definitely difficult for him to get.
Under attack.
So they have mech Gats on Darkseer, guarding Greaves as well. Stop silence and stuff. Although I don't think there is an Orchid this game. Oh yeah, there is. It's on Broodmother.
Yeah, Bulldog's had one for a while.
Why is he ancienting so much? Is this a result
I
of
really
the bounty?
don't like...
Like, is he just trying to not get tracked?
I guess. I mean, I guess not knowing where he is kind of scary, but... I really just want to see him push bottom. Like, who cares if they TP back 1 or 2 heroes and try to kill you? You got BKB. You can just punch them.
Wait,
Okay. Are they going to be able to find the pick off here? Lotus moving forward. It's got level 16 Omni Slap. He's going to look for no fear here. The Thunder Strike's down as well. One hit to Disruptor. Silent and Yoku, they're going to be finding the Crimson Guard for the time being here. There is still the Omni Slash now comes down to Silent. The Crimson Guard's doing a little bit. The Guard increase as well, but it's not enough. Now Yoku's been frozen up by Ake. Tries to fight back, but it's not enough. They've lost the TA as well here, Empire. No fear. Analog on the retreat. No fear will brave himself and look to get him out of there. He's not going to as the frozen Ake just killing everybody. And that's the last of it. So Boyer are dead on the side of Empire. And Alliance losing one. It's looking a little bit grim for the rating.
Did Red Solution ditch? What happened? He didn't use his wall?
I think he ditched, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the thing is, there was an Orchid cast on Yoku, like at the very start of the fight after he killed the Disruptor. And then there was nothing he could do after that, because again, he doesn't have BKB finished. If he had BKB, he also had a double damage. So I think that there was a good chance that he could have actually done some work in that fight, but the item timing just not quite syncing up with what
Radiant's
Empire want to
middle
do this
tower
game.
is under attack.
I gotta say, even though Admiral Bulldog has a ridiculous love for doing Ancients, he's playing a very unconventional brood, but it's working. Like, he's teleporting to fights. He put his webs in a way where he can walk from safe lane to middle, and he was ganking. Like, this is not what is conducive to normal brood play at all, but Alliance, it's working out for him.
He hasn't died, and he's a pretty high net worth, so trading that over to Empire is one way for them to get back in a game where they're definitely losing at this point.
I think eventually he might have the confidence to push into that tier 2. One day, you know? The little brood that could.
Maybe
It's a
one
success
AC,
story.
I guess? Or maybe he's just buying a plate mail, who knows?
Nah, I think it's AC for sure.
Could be... Is Lotus Orb too crazy? Probably, it doesn't do enough offensive.
I think it's nice to have a secondary spell for the amp, actually.
But
And it gets
you'd be
better
better
track
off
as well.
getting Manta, I feel.
Yeah, that's also true. It depends. I think AC is probably the most common choice in this scenario. And then if he wants to go for a Lotus Orb after that, I mean, having a ton of armor against that team isn't bad.
Yeah, this is a two armor item, like Shiva's and Scotty kind of game, or
Yeah.
Shiva's and AC kind of game.
I mean, Yoku now on the TA has got the BKB just to be coming out on its way on the courier. I mean, how much is this going to change the game up against what Alliance have to deal with Empire? Do you feel in the fights?
He's already shown that he can do a crap load of damage.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, like, a Static Storm or an Orchid ruins the fight for the TA. If you can't use Refraction, you can't use Meld, your burst damage is negated, your survivability is, well, pretty much halved, especially if somebody like Juggernaut is omniing you, for example. You just die instantly in that case, so it is huge. Like, this is a very, very good pickup for him.
The only downside is that the hard counter to BKB on cores is Ghost Scepter, and Ake has one now, so
Yeah.
that's like 4 seconds of the 10 that he pops his BKB where he's going to be kind of useless. So hopefully for him he finds the Disruptor first, just like the last fight.
Yeah, if there's a stun into a Meld hit, it should be an easy kill. And that's what they're going to have to hope for.
Vision for Heroes. Ward on the high ground, they're going to find it.
Oh man, Lone is working his way towards Butterfly. He's actually very, very close.
There it is, the evasion coming.
Oh, the
It's good.
courier gets sniped. That was
Jeez, what did that have on?
4,600 gold.
Oh, that's painful for Alliance.
That's a big pick.
That's
Radiant's
a big
top
pick
tower
off.
is under attack.
Although Alliance is going to be very happy with that one.
That's like half their net worth looking at the courier, actually.
Yeah. Lotus still did a lot of value out of his last
Radiant's
fight, though. I
top
think
tower
these
has
extra
fallen.
points in Blade Fury made a big difference. It's like 4 skill points allows you to do a pretty large amount of damage and not need items for it.
Silence straight out of it. The TP comes in from Disruptor. He knows he's looking for the glimpse. Yeah, Minux won't be able to find it. And Lordar's just getting the tracks out, keeping it safe, playing it cool. 33 minutes in. You know, they're still hanging in here, Empire. What is it that Empire are looking to do now? Do they just have to wait for Alliance to come to them, or do you think we can expect to see some more smokes from Empire at this point? Or do they need to kind of tone down the aggression?
Well, there's a 10-second BKB on Yoku, so that's nice, but I still think they need Silence to get a BKB as well. Because if those two heroes have 10-second BKBs and free mobility in fights, you will never be tanky against Empire's lineup. That's just one thing you have to accept. There's too much minus armor. You will always die in like 3 seconds, no matter what stage of the game it is. So if they have BKBs on those two heroes and they catch out anyone, they're going splat. Like, that's how it is. So Empire, even though it looks a little bit grim for them at this point, if Silent can get to that BKB in the next couple of minutes, and they can take a fight, smoke or not, I think that there is a shot that they can win it.
Okay.
Loda just bought an Eagle song. Do we know what was on the courier?
Yeah, it's
it was.
Butterfly.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's just that.
the intelligent. Yeah, from the current.
It was 5,700 gold, wasn't it?
It was 26,675, but there was a Hyperstone, Talisman Evasion, and Quarterstone.
So it was more items than just his.
Yeah, it's the Hyperstone for Bulldog as well, part of the AC. So When that is back up in a minute, yeah, they'll have the completed AC on Bulldog and the completed Butterfly for Loader.
Goes back.
They're glimpsing back at Ice, BKB'd off it. It was onto Yoku, he BKB's to avoid the glimpse.
Dire's top tower
I mean,
is
it's
under
not great
attack.
to have to use a 10-second BKB charge.
Yep.
But the alternative is dying, so. I think Alliance probably just go tier 2 bottom, right? I don't think they try to go high ground yet. Okay, Minuts, you are like super brave for being there.
No Ghost Scepter.
Yeah, no Ghost Scepter. He is actually still a one-shot, I believe.
I can't believe he hasn't bought it yet. I mean, buyback is important and stuff, but
No, he doesn't need buyback right now.
yeah, especially when you're honestly at risk of getting one shot on a fight. Really feel like Ghost is the item. Decent against
I guess the other thing too is your positioning should usually be behind the CM, right? Like you should never be visible over the CM because your ulti is so much more impactful on the fight right now.
Maybe it's some like super meta play, like I'm gonna show all the way up here because they think that my whole team's behind me and it's gonna buy our team like 30 seconds more.
Dominance, man.
It could be something like that. Some players are like really advancing things like that.
Empire now with the smoke. The king motions towards the Dire side of the map. Alliance backed up into their base. It's just Bulldog at the moment sitting on the cliff. By his favourite spot by those ancients, where he's pretty much hung around
Dude,
for the
this is
entirety of the game.
This is freaking home.
Yes, it
They're
is.
so mad when they
This
watch
is his
this
nest.
replay because they're like, wow.
They're honestly
I got
just
the
gonna be
game.
like, all he did was kill Ancients, like he didn't even pressure our lane bottom.
He just sat on that frickin' cliff the entire game.
There we go, Alliance. They're ready to come back out now.
Curry's back out. He's going.
There's your AC. Loaded with the Butterfly. Shiva's now onto S4. And a lower
He
dance.
almost got sniped.
I was going to say, yeah, nearly got it.
A huge item actually against Slaughter is Shiva's Guard.
Yeah.
Because as a hero, you don't need a lot of damage items to do damage because there's so much minus armor. So you don't often build that much attack speed either. And all of a sudden you more than counteract the attack speed of Treads. This is going to drastically reduce Slaughter's DPS in the fight. He's going to attack like he just has brown boots,
I
basically.
mean, TA is the same way, right? Like you typically don't build much attack speed on TA.
It really is. It's actually, the attack speed reduction is game winning, fight winning at least, if they don't react to it instantly.
Yeah, and TA picking up a Demon Edge, so still no attack speed on Yoku, but is working her way, what I imagine is going to be an MKB.
Whoa, he was looking for the courier there, using the Shivas to try and get the Vision S4. There is a Shiva's Guard sitting on that for the Dark Seer of Empire. So it would have been a nice pick off. And Alliance, they're heading top. The TPs are straight out there, and didn't quite get the vision there for the glimpse.
Nah, he pinged it. He's like 18 feet away. So there is BKB now on Silent.
Ah, yes, okay.
This is the point where, okay, and Shiva's at the same time. This is a really strong power spike for Empire. They got double BKB on their cores. They still do a ton of damage. They got the AoE Wombo combo from the Dark Seer back into potentially, I guess, a Crush. That's pretty much the only thing they can combo with it right now. But there is still very good potential for Empire to take one of these engagements and come out of it leaders.
Loda's quite tanky now though, and Evasion on top of that is going to make things very hard. If they focus him first, there's a pretty high chance that he just doesn't die at the very initiation.
Right, Smash going to look for the TP out. But in that case, they'll cancel.
Killing spree!
Down to 46 seconds. He doesn't have buyback here, so Alliance may look to try and push up to the base. Not having to worry about that weed coming out every now and then. You know, it may seem small, but it might be just the thing that Alliance were waiting for to try and break the base.
Minot still hasn't spent his gold. Do you think he's saving for Blink, I guess? It's maybe the only other item I could value that high over a Ghost Scepter, because with the Blink, he can catch so many more heroes because of the extra range into Glimpse.
That is true. I think Blink is a great item on Disruptor in pretty much every game. And I guess if you go with the mentality of what we were talking about earlier and just not being far up, you can probably always get blinked in.
Hello,
Getting
Dance.
that combo.
Dire's
nice.
courier
Alright.
has been killed.
Nothing on it that time.
No. Blink was already delivered out attack, okay? The rest of the side of Alliance looking for Roshamp. They're going to be able to get it. Empire not in a position at all to contest. So that'll be the cheese as well. They're going to Alliance S4 take that. Loader will hold on to the Aegis for the time being. And yeah, it was the blink here for the Disruptor as well. So
Okay.
Alliance have got all the catch potential they need for the next fight.
That's one counter to TA blinking on you. You just blink away. If you're fast. If you have good reactions, it's an invulnerability item in some ways.
Yeah, that's very true. I just think in general, the Disruptor this game has actually done so much for them. There have been at least a dozen occasions where they get a bonus kill because of Glimpse, or they kill Aloha Dance because he is a little bit too far in vision and just gets glimpsed back into death. And even Yoku has died a couple of times that way too, so the way that Alliance have run this Disruptor,
Radiant's bottom tower
I am
is
amazed
under
they've actually
attack.
been able to make it this effective. Because if you look at Empire, you see, okay, when they get BKBs, Alliance team seems relatively weak. But their laning phase was phenomenal, and Alliance have been looking great today.
Radiant's
I mean, at this
bottom
point,
tower
it
is
kind
under
of feels
attack.
like to be successful at defending, Empire have got to hit a massive vacuum wall slippery and crush at this point.
Dude, they're doing like so much damage to this. They don't have
Radiant's bottom
anything
tower
to
has fallen.
Goes in right click.
that healing core might go to shoot on.
What is Empire's answer to this?
The damage is so big.
Dire's top
They
tower
have
has
BKBs, they can go
fallen.
out.
Dire's
Silence
middle
looking for the
tower
right
is under
angle.
attack.
See if you can get that crush in.
Oh, MKB's done on Yoku. That's actually big.
They got their items so fast. Empire's doing a great job farming, even though they're a little behind both games.
They can actually blow up Loda.
He took a lot of damage before. That was like amp damage, and he was already down to 1 armor. He didn't even get hit by the Deso at that point. And they have weave ready to go. Do you weave aggressively or defensively here?
We use
Go
defensively
defense.
again this time. Okay. Just getting this slow in. Empire lose nobody, and that was the defense that the Radiant need. Oh my Jesus.
Oh my.
Alright, so the man getting the rampage is obviously the TA, but you gotta give a shout out to Resolution and Silent because they set
Yeah.
that up so well. Like, as soon as he sees an opportunity for a 4-man back, he's like, I'm going. He gets it right into a crush. Even with the Static Storm, it wasn't enough to deter Empire. They both had BKBs in the cores that we were talking about, and my god.
Here we go. Where did it all go wrong, Andy?
Alright, so here, they start to group up, and Resolution's just like, yo, I
Dire's
got
middle
this!
tower
4-man
is under
crush,
attack.
goes straight in. Normally, if there were no BKBs, this fight would have probably been okay for Alliance, but again, Silent and Yoku both, they're unstoppable, and they had Crimson Guard on this whole time as well,
Dire's
so
middle tower
Kevin was saying
has
earlier how
fallen.
good it is against Omni, it's being shown here, and after they just take so much damage, they
Dire's
get AoE,
structures
there's
are
nothing they can't come back from that fight.
Dire's
Like, as soon as that
middle
combo
tower is
happens,
under
it's over.
Now back in the real game now. They're applying pressure onto the mid lane.
Dire's middle
Yep.
tower has fallen.
You know, there is a buyback on, of course, S4 and Loader, but they're not going to want to use it. I think they're just going to have to let these ones go here. Save the buyback for next time. Just accept that they've lost a set of
That
rats.
was enormous.
Dire's
What a
bottom
my
tower is
goodness.
under
And
attack.
Minox really wants a counter kill there, even aggressively blinks forward, realizing, okay, that was a catastrophe. We use Cheese, we use Aegis, we only get to tier 3, and we get team wiped.
Man. Oh boy.
6k gold on TA.
Look at that
after
swing.
fight.
He's got a butterfly.
Butterfly is the next item.
Oh.
I think the only thing Alliance should have done there was forced a fight. I don't think it had to be a good fight. I think they just needed to start a fight to prevent the vacuum quad man stun, because at least they would only grab 2. But as soon as it's all 4, they've got nothing out of CM, they've got nothing out of Disruptor. It was like the worst heroes to catch, really.
A messy fight is actually favorable, I feel,
Has
for
he got a
Alliance.
completed butterfly?
Yeah, he's got it.
Dude.
I mean, one fight butterfly, that's what happens when you get a rampage, and the enemy
Alright.
team has, like, they had a 4, okay, look at the grab, please. Just, yeah.
As is blowing his top right now.
That's a one, that's
These
a
kind of stats, I mean,
He likes records, alright.
That's
he
some Dota
absolutely
too.
does.
I mean, maybe it's not the biggest comeback ever, but it's probably one of the fastest gold
Yes.
comebacks ever in one fight. Like, that was a ridiculous amount of money.
Okay. I don't think I allowed that to
No, he's fine.
He's alright.
He has no damage items.
So
I'm fine.
now, the biggest problem that Alliance are going to run into is the same thing that we've kind of been saying for the whole game, is that Slardar and TA match up very well against Juggernaut. And the thing is, Loda has not gone a damage build. They were supposed to, at least in my mind, have already Raxed at this point, and since they haven't, now their Juggernaut feels very weak and
Oh, he's spotted. He's blinking one.
he is so dead.
Get a load of this.
Okay, got it.
Ooh, they've got the trap slow. Big comp. Find the crush shot. No, he's not going to go for it. S4's there. They're scared of the backup.
This build is more of a, would you say, high ground pushing build? That was like
Yeah, it definitely is.
the jug / troll era. It was all stats.
Okay, very quick reaction there from S4 and the low R dance. And he's going to be dancing in his grave. He is dead. That was, of course, the gem on S4. Spotted him out.
What do you think he should have gone instead on jug? Maybe like, how about like Abyssal? He's already got a blink dagger. He could initiate. They could honestly just kill like.
He might buy one next, actually. I think he might sell drums and just buy a basher or something. Because with BKB, they actually have very little damage and lockdown for any BKB target whatsoever. Which is why I feel like he goes this build to try to end the game at an earlier point. And they had such a nice lead. And yeah, that's a lot of
Bit of a
buildings.
surprise, bit of a jackpot there for No Fear.
Yeah.
Alright. No, he's got the gem on him. Okay, gem on the Dazzle. Okay, so he does.
Okay,
Skadi on the Brood. Double Skadi coming out for Lance. What do you reckon about this one, Pert?
They
I
don't.
like it. Slows them all.
But there's no damage.
He's got damage from his ult, man. It's like plus 1,000 damage. It's 120.
At least 1,000?
It's so much.
Pert, do you even maths?
It's 120 damage. That's so much. That's
I mean,
huge
it is a
damage.
lot of damage, but he doesn't have like any scaling attack damage multipliers like crit. He doesn't have bash. He doesn't have anything that really makes him like really scary. You know, it's just kind of like, okay, I hit for 300, but I also have minus armor whenever I'm standing in the vicinity of a Slardar, and I will never win a man fight.
I think Scotty can help him win a man fight with Slar. I think he can beat Slar in a man fight.
Maybe Slardar, but
60
not
evasion.
the TA. The TA will destroy him.
The TA will destroy him because his passive is basically worthless, yes.
Yeah.
But the slow will do something.
Dire's bottom
But like a
tower
basher
is
is the
under
other
attack.
solution. You know, he maybe should have even gone MKB. I don't even know if he yet realized that there is a butterfly on TA, but he's gonna have huge issues with that. He definitely can't beat TA because of that reason.
Alrighty, Alliance were smoked up. Unable to find anything here. This swing. I mean, we've already talked about it, but it is
All right, yo,
insane.
we got like a
Insane.
blinking problem with our TA player. He is stuck again.
I just
I mean, if for whatever reason Alliance went in there and got kills because Yoku was stuck in the trees, there would probably be a Reddit post.
Stuff
Just
happens.
saying.
He's got a
All right.
blinking problem, but he doesn't have a rampage.
That's an assault cuirass for the Slardar.
Okay. How many sets of armor can one fish
A lot.
creature?
I mean, that's a back fan. He's obviously exploiting inventory slots.
Well, the same item slot.
This trap could be the trap.
I was gonna say
Load
that.
up. Yeah. Oh, loaded with a blink count.
He actually held his blink for a very long time there.
The slaughter.
Yeah, I feel like he could have gone on that quite easily. Maybe he was just scared because they don't have any vision.
I guess where Bulldog is.
No, he's
his favourite
migrated a
spot.
little bit. No, he's got a
He's
got
working
a
his
new
way
route,
down.
yeah.
No, come on, he's been there the whole time. Every time I look over, he's actually there.
He's just looking for Roche, you know? Just living the spider life.
Why doesn't he put a baby in there? I guess they're jungling.
Yeah. But
he
he
can
can't
spare
use
one.
babies on ancients, so.
No, just put like one in the.
Yeah, if the Dazzle comes up with that gem.
Look, he listened. He heard you, Purge. Bulldog knows.
That's which types.
From time to time. Alright, so. Honestly,
They figured it out. They know where to put the.
What's on the courier? What's on the courier? Bulldog's not gonna be able to get it. Oh, it's just water. Okay. Okay, let's keep it cool.
Games
Keep it
Dire's
chill. Kills it
bottom
anyway, though, I
tower
think.
is
He
under
does.
attack.
no,
No,
come on,
he's-
Bulldog.
This is the.
Gives mercy to the
Okay,
courier.
season.
It is
Dire's
kind of
bottom
cool.
tower
No,
has
the courier
fallen.
will live.
That's fast.
So with the same amount of gold, I favor Empire's team like 9 times out of 10.
I would give him maybe 7.
I just think their team is so much easier to use when you have 2 BKB cores that deal ridiculous physical damage. Like, sure, Ghost Scepters are kind of a counter to you on the supports, but you can actually just kill the cores. That's the nice thing about
Yeah.
having this kind of lineup, is you don't have to play around Ghost Scepters because a Juggernaut and a Queen of Pain aren't going to buy them. So you just punch the cores. You don't care about the supports.
There's also a BKB on Darkseer now, so you can't even aim to just lock him down with Disrupt ulti anymore.
Yep.
I think their best chance is to initiate, do some AoE damage to everybody, similar to like Ake when he was blinking it with Nova. If you catch them all, then you fight, because at least then they can't blink offensively.
Yeah.
I think that's their best way to initiate, although it's maybe not their best solution, because Ake basically does nothing now because of BKBs. It's gonna be like 20 minutes before he feels useful again.
What does TA need to pick up next? Does Yoki just need to get the bots first before thinking about maybe something like a Moon Shards, or is there anything else to be replacing in his inventory in your mind?
Moonshard would be good.
Yeah, Moonshard probably in the bots, or bots Moonshard in the probably in that order.
Dire's top
Really?
tower
You think so?
is
Because he's
under
gonna lose so
attack.
much. Oh, I guess he has Butterfly. I guess he's alright on attack speed right now.
This is going to be good for the side of Empire. Roshan's going to be coming up very, very shortly. It's going to be a hard one for Alliance to contest as well, because Empire's just going to melt through the beast.
My god. It's actually gonna die so fast
Dire's
that
top tower is under
I
attack.
guess they give Aegis to Slardar and Cheese to who? Maybe Bounty? No, Resolution. Nah, he doesn't have room. I guess they can give it to No Fear. Just have him hold on to it for a while.
They want to get a pickup
Dire's
before they do
top
it.
tower is under
They're
attack.
heading up straight by the secret shop. They know that Alliance is going to be poised, ready to try and fight, and that blink out just in time from Miners. Resolution will find the vacuum onto Bulldog. Won't quite be able to chase him down anymore though. Free money here for the team. Now we'll clear up the spider babies.
Oh, they might get dazzled.
Oh, what's going on here? Yeah, Dazzle. Oh, loader. Not the Omni Slash he was looking for there. Defensive weave coming out on the majority of the side of Empire. Leaning forward, side of Tower, and that's deleted from the game. Beacon being tried to fight. There's more to go from the Sonic, but connect up to 3. But this time back as well. It's a 1-1 so far. They have up the gas, but the wall's being tried to crush as well. Bulldog fighting through this here with the life steal, keeping himself alive. They haven't managed to find a close load up. Bulldog will finally go down. Active just falling to damage. Triple kill for Resolution here on the Darks here. It's a full team wipe against Alliance. And Alliance only have 2 heroes with buyback, only Loader and Bulldog here. This could be a second set of racks going down.
Yeah, I think this might actually
Dire's
be
bottom
Vegas.
tower is under
That's what it looks like to me too. What a
Dire's
dangerous lineup,
structures
man.
are fortified.
I told you, man. It doesn't matter if the cores have Ghost Scepter, you just punch the swords.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Loader's going to buy back.
He doesn't have Omni, there's no way.
Bulldog's here as well.
I don't even think Omni Slash is going to make the difference in that fight. They just got so many like Darkseer illusions and
And they're just going to kill him. The GG well played Empire. What's going to be one of the biggest comebacks that I've seen, at least in our DreamLeague coverage of Dota 2. That was quite a game. It was down to that fight down at the bottom set of racks. I mean,
Resolution and Silent MVP, I guess, for lining up that back into the crush. Of course, you gotta also give Yoka credit for stealing all the kills.
yes.
I mean, that's pretty much what
That's
it
what
boils
the
down
close
to.
do,
all he
isn't it?
did.
Yeah. All about the supports.
But it's really hard in that situation to play as Juggernaut because the game, again, it's supposed to be over, right? You're not supposed to go to 50 minutes against Slard RTA. You'll never win. And especially because of the way that he itemized, he kind of put himself in a spot where if they didn't double racks, like bare minimum, at that point in the game, Empire just does more with the same amount of gold.